We're knitting again. Kale surprise. Welcome to Purl Perspectives. I'm Anahí.
I'm Allie.
And I'm Carine.
And we are coming to you from Ottawa, Canada, where it's a lovely fall day today.
There's a little bit of a nip in the air.
A little bit of a chill.
It's definitely starting to be sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Finally. Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
I'm actually kind of loving this weather.
Yeah.
If it could just be this temperature every day of the year,
Oh,
it
okay,
would be
no.
so cute.
Or at least...
Ish, but like not every day of the year. Like just all fall.
Yeah, if
Right.
it wasn't like, 5 degrees in the morning and then 35 degrees in the middle of the day and then 15 degrees by the time you leave work. Like, let's not have the yo-yo. That would be preferred.
Yes.
Yeah.
Personally.
Someone told me if you don't like the weather in Ottawa, just come back in 15 minutes.
More like, More like
love
an hour
that.
and a half.
Hell,
yeah,
they were
true.
right.
But it's true, because like you have to dress up in layers at this time of year, which is
Great if you're a maker and you can wear one of your knitted or crocheted garments.
Very
or
true.
perhaps
Absolutely.
sew yourself a fancy new jacket of some kind.
But it kind of sucks when you're walking for long distances because
Okay,
no
but you
matter
bring
how
that
many
onto
layers you
yourself,
put
though.
on. Yeah.
You bring that onto yourself.
Oh yeah, but like what am I supposed to do? Like
You chose the walking life. The walking life didn't choose you.
but
You
it's
were
like
born in it.
It's
Molded
frustrating
by
because you
it.
can't put all those layers because if
Yeah.
you do, within 10 minutes you're sweating.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
Hi, Alex. Hi, Lexi. Thank you for the
Hello.
compliments on the mushroom dress.
yes,
She
it is
did
beautiful.
cute.
Isn't it great?
And I'll tell you what, it has
has
pockets.
And Carine, you have a matching one, don't you?
Yes, I do. We bought it together actually.
Well, it was sort of
So
like an
cute.
impulse buy, right?
Yeah, it was.
We were walking, like, I think it was after knit night or before knit night or something.
I think it was after.
After knit night, I think. Or maybe it was one
No,
of those,
no,
like, Saturdays.
Yeah, I think it was
For
a
some
Saturday
reason,
outing.
it was during the day. And we're walking down one of the big streets here by my house where there's a lot of
Like
shops,
and
boutiques and stuff. And there's this gift shop called Flamingo.
Love it. It's adorable.
It's so
quirky.
So
it's
we were both,
beautiful.
like, Allie and I are walking, fully intending to get home immediately. And then we both did a double take, like,
Yeah.
oh,
that was me and her, and then we literally just went like, "Hello,
where
dress."
is that one? Where is that? It was like, the dress was just, like, on a mannequin by the window, very, like, nonchalantly laying there. And we were both like,
Yes, please.
yes. Yes,
I just love the
spectacular. Give me
clerk.
14 of them right now.
I just love the
It
clerk
was-
who was like, "Okay."
It was so funny because the next time I saw the two of you together, you were both wearing the dresses that day.
Because I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
We couldn't
And
wait
yeah,
to wear
yeah.
them.
And it was so funny because I went, did I miss a memo or something? And you were like, no, as soon as we separated from you after our last, like, errands, we saw it and we bought it. Do you want to go get one? And I remember being like, a little bit yes, but also I'm never going to wear a mushroom dress.
I like
But it was
it
just
because
so cute that you both independently chose to wear it on that same day.
I like it because
Really
you know what I
adorable.
see? I see not only a great dress, but also if you want an easy Halloween costume, this is Miss Frizzle.
It is totally.
This is Miss Frizzle. You just need the wig,
the
you're Miss
chameleon.
Frizzle, and the chameleon, and then you're Miss Frizzle. You're that's
So
it. That was my
cute.
thing.
No,
like,
but like I kid you not, one of my proudest crochet moments was when I crocheted a little chameleon that goes over the shoulder.
Aww.
I ended up selling that because it was around the time when I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll sell you what I make.
Yeah.
But I wish I had kept it because now I kind of want to
Right?
cosplay as Miss
Miss
Frizzle.
Frizzle. That would be, you
Yeah.
could just make
So
yourself
fun.
another one.
I guess so. I'll see if I can find that that chameleon
Yeah, the
pattern again. Yeah, I remember it being really fun to make and really complicated, but I learned a lot. So yeah, I kind of miss that crochet amigurumi stage that I was in. Not saying that I miss it like I want to get back to it. I think it was a
You
nice
do make them
phase.
occasionally.
I make little toys occasionally, but not as like intensely as I used to. I'll say.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Alex says Gerbo could be your chameleon.
I love that.
For that. I would be so down.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, get yourself a partner that's willing to do shenanigans.
Yeah, and
with
he
you.
is. He
Yeah.
totally is down to do
100%. Down to clown. Down to clown
Yep.
for sure. We are knitting, or at least we're trying.
Mm-hmm.
I need y'all to know that like a second before the stream started, Carine was
Swearing up and down the street.
panicking,
Scrambling
swearing,
with a
Just
mistake.
being like, is this gonna work?
just sweating buckets because you what is it that happened? You made a mistake
Oh,
and then you laddered.
Yeah, I just essentially laddered on top of a mistake, and I just realized the mistake, and I was like, if I go and do a whole like row before I come back to the mistake, it's going to be one extra stitch I have to undo, and it was right like maybe 5 stitches back, so I just like undid, but I was scrambling.
But it's in
But it
this
worked out.
fission technique, so it's not like you're just laddering down garter stitch. Like you have to be cognizant of all the different yarns.
It's the different
the
colors. Like I just
colors
cut the fringe, so this is so I just cut the one I just finished, and now I'm going to be taking the next one, which is the main color. So it's actually kind of cool the way it fades.
Looks beautiful.
It
Because
looks
it's
so
like
good.
you take each color, and each color becomes the main color.
Show the people. Show the people.
So if you can kind of see, like, I don't know, like actually this side is a little better. Like it has the bigger fade. So
It's so cute.
there's actually
nice.
4 different fades in the whole pattern.
Yeah.
This is the Quintessential Fade Wrap by
I love
Martin.
it.
Mary Martin.
And I'm so impressed that this is a technique that needs to be worked lengthwise.
Yeah.
So you have to cast on all
Yeah.
of the stitches
How
for
many
the length
stitches?
of the side.
420, I want to say, and then
is
you
it-
increase to 480 something.
Could be me.
482.
Alex says the fade is amazing, and I have to agree.
Yeah, this is a botanical yarn. It's
Oh,
the crocus
Sophie
fade, I think.
knows
Yeah, it's
what
Sophie's.
she's
So it's the
doing.
crocus
Sophie,
fade.
oh my god, girl, you and your mom are killing it with the fades and the
It's
color
just like
combinations.
this is the perfect
Yep.
like color combo for somebody that I know. So it like makes me really happy,
Yeah,
and
they're
I'm
gonna
like
love
super
it.
excited,
Yeah.
and I can talk about it because this person's not gonna watch this, but
You know that.
like, well, whatever. I'm not gonna name names, but like this is what I think, like, you know, essentially is going to be perfect for this person because I know their color palette. But yeah, it's actually super fun to do. It's just long.
Are you a person that has a color palette? So like if one of your loved ones was like, I'm gonna get Carine something
Blue.
to wear, would they know that that's your color palette?
Yeah, everybody knows I like
Yep.
blue.
Yeah.
That's kind of like blue or pastels of any kind, but blue mostly.
Cute. How about you, Ellie?
Burgundy, mustard, evergreen.
Yeah.
I am an autumn through and through.
You are such an autumn.
So if somebody were to be like, I'm gonna gift this to Allie, and they'd hold up this like cotton candy pink sweater, all of the close people in my circle would be like, how about we go with this one, and grabs the like dark purple and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
that
and then
would be
you
the
give
kind
me
of,
the
like the jewel
well, maybe not the
tones,
cotton
the
candy
deep,
one. I prefer dusty rose.
earthy, like
Yeah.
yeah.
so like
I feel like
saturated colors.
I feel like my favorite color for a really long time has been purple, but lately I've been enjoying kind of like the more jewel tone purples and greens. So like Exhibit A, Exhibit B. So like the darker, more jewelly versions
Yes.
of green, purple.
Yeah.
Like some electric blue.
Well, now I know a little bit better. Like, it's kind of funny because my favorite color of all time does not really match with me. Because my favorite color is royal blue, like really deep royal blue.
Like a navy.
Not
No.
quite. Not quite.
Not quite. A little lighter.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
think...
Like, you know the
Well,
pullover
kinda
that
like-
I knit that's like
no.
really, really fuzzy, that Cookie Monster sweater?
yeah,
Cookie
that's
Monster.
it. That's royal...
That's royal blue?
Yeah. Which is nice, but it's a very
What's-
cold color. So it kind of makes
And
me
you're-
look even paler.
You're just a little too peaches and cream for it to like work.
So what I was told is like... No, but it's true.
you can pull it off.
described
You
as
can pull it off.
Peaches and cream. I mean, I do like
Have
peaches
you
and
never
cream
heard that
corn,
before?
so-
That is,
No,
that's
I've
a
never
coloring.
heard
Yeah.
that.
And that's but at the same time, like a lot of the colors that look well on me are kind of like the matte version or the
Yeah.
not pale, just matte version of
Yeah, less
those jewel,
saturated.
yeah, of those like not rose, dusty rose, not
Like a
not
bit more of
blue,
the
but like
muted.
dusty blue or like gray blue.
Yeah.
Gray
Not
blue.
so like it's always like not that bright color you think of, just like a little off. And
Like
then
if
that,
you were to
that works.
overlay a gray screen over it, that'd be the vibe. Or
Yeah.
a brown screen over
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it's but I'm discovering a little
Sepia
bit
toned.
more like what works well on me because I
Yeah.
have no sense of this yet. I'm still like
Color
discovering.
combinations and like color theory in general is really difficult for me to grasp as a concept. Luckily, I'm surrounded by people that do understand it, so I often go like, "Do these go together?" And
I had
someone
to
else
study
tells
it
me.
in school, and it was so hard to wrap your mind around at first.
yeah,
'Cause
no,
you're
it's
like,
not
oh,
easy.
You have to create this shade of terracotta to match the ceramic that you're infilling. You're gonna need to add a little purple. What? I'm creating
Why?
a brown. I'm creating an orange, and you're telling me you need to add purple. But then you do, and you're like, oh,
And you're
that
like,
actually
oh,
made the
shit, it
depth of
worked.
color it didn't have. That actually worked.
Yeah.
You're telling me I need to add green?
But that's the thing.
Okay.
It's when
But
you
it works.
actually when you study color theory, you also the other thing that really is cool is how complete opposite colors
Yeah.
can like be so like look so well together and
Yeah.
the colors that you would not expect.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm thinking something like a shade of orange with a shade of like aqua. Right? A lot of people are like, this doesn't seem to work, but if you put them together, they actually like, of course it
Look pretty
depends
good
on the
together,
shade, but
yeah.
yeah, like, well, there we go. See, so like there's
Oh yeah,
there's
that's
color
exactly-
combinations that don't look like they match, and then you put them together and like, no, actually they do. It's just
That's
you have
great.
to find the right tone or
Yeah.
the right.
See, I'm not great at that. So I'm wondering does everyone who do crafts have to get this right?
No.
No,
No, because
you got to go with what color makes you,
Yeah.
you know, like makes you
Exactly.
sing.
when it comes to
Whatever
crafting,
makes
especially
you
if it's stuff that you're gonna wear, you're gonna put
Yeah.
you know hours and hours and hours into making. It should be more about
'Cause you're the
what
one who's
you
gonna wear
enjoy
it.
working with.
Or work
Right?
with it. So like it should be a color that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Alex says color theory is really wild because like the way that colors look are also affected by whatever things are around it and what color
Yes.
those things are.
That is very, and the lighting, like especially if
Yeah.
if it's
The
clothing
lighting.
that you're wearing and you take pictures and you're wondering like, why does
Do
it
you
look
guys
weird?
remember the dress debacle?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, like what is
blue
it?
and black
Blue
or white and gold. I think
Yeah, it was
Was
like
it that?
white and gold.
yeah, I think you're right. Blue
Is
and
it
black,
and blue, or is it like gold and
white.
gold and white or something?
Yeah, and
I
did we
swear
ever
to
know what
you-
it was?
The dress itself, I think, was actually white. No, I think the dress itself was actually blue and black
Yeah.
because I only ever saw white and gold.
I don't know which one
I-
it was. I
And
forgot.
I
but
remember arguing
but it was all
with
about
my
lighting.
roommate who saw it blue, and she was like, "I'm right, and the thing is actually blue, therefore I'm right, and you're just like," and she, yeah.
I swear to you, it just looked brown to me.
I love how she's
couldn't-
like third option here, guys.
I was like, I don't know what y'all are like bickering about. This is clearly a brown dress.
I just love it so
Well,
much.
okay. I saw a video on Instagram recently, so obviously we can't say with 100% what the veracity of it is, but talking about how, oh, I'm going to get this so wrong, but there's science around how some people can see more colors than others because of
Must
different
be
chromosome
nice.
markers.
Really? Or well, I mean, I know some people see less, but I didn't know some people saw more.
I think the person called it like tetrachromatosis. I am
Oh.
not an ophthalmologist. I'm not a doctor. I did not study like the human anatomy in any way.
But
So
I am
I'm
curious.
going to be
Yeah.
so wrong in me saying this, but that there is like, oh my god, what was it? It was something like the average person could see like 3 million shades, but there are some people out there who can see up to 10 million shades
Oh.
because they're
Whoa.
born with more cones in their eyes.
Well, I mean, the
And the
fun
cones
fact.
are the cells that interpret
Fun
color.
fact: the
Weird.
animal on this planet that has the best is the mantis shrimp. I think they have something like is it
Yeah, they can
12
see-
cones or something or 10? No, I forgot. They have way more than
all
us.
day, every day.
We have 3, and I think butterflies have like 6.
Yeah.
And then there's the shrimp mantis has the most, and I think it's something like 9 or 10.
There's a conversation popping up on the chat about like people painting their house really bright colors.
Oh,
Maximalism is in.
mm-mm-mm.
Millennial page is
isn't
out.
it?
Hopefully.
Did you know in Canada you can't paint your garage doors purple?
What?
Why?
Yeah, apparently there's.
Canada is like a.
I don't know if
like
it's still a thing, but like.
it's another city right next to where we live.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a suburb.
Technically, it's a suburb
Ottawa.
of Ottawa, but it is like kind
It's
of
another
a
municipality.
It's kind of its own thing.
But why did they ban purple doors?
One person must
Probably
have done
somebody did it, and they were like, "It looks out of place," and then they banned it.
And then
But
an
I'm pretty
HOA
sure it's
got
purple, but
theirs.
it's one of those bright colors. And I just find it funny. I'm like, if I was somebody living, I would make my entire house purple except the garage door just to make somebody mad.
Oh, I saw this thing about this
That's
person
so funny.
in, I think it was like Maine or something like that, in the east coast of the U.S., who had their boat parked in their driveway.
Oh, yeah, I saw
and the,
that.
like, homeowners association complained.
Yeah.
And was like, if you're going to have your boat here, you have to put up a fence. So he put up
did.
a fence and then painted the boat on.
And it's so well painted that it kind of looks like
Looks like
Like a real
like the
Yeah,
real
boat.
thing.
It's so
it's
funny.
just, but I love it. Like that level of pettiness is what I live for.
Tell us what color would you paint your house to be as obnoxiously as possible to your neighbors?
All of them.
I mean, there's places
Every
in the
single
world
one.
where they kind of want you, like Nova Scotia is a great example. There's super bright colors.
Yep.
PEI, I think also.
PEI, just Nova Scotia is very colorful.
Like
as
they love to
well.
have really, which
Lots
is
of
fair because they
European
have.
cities have like colors that are kind of
Yeah.
associated with them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like the red tile roofs of Prague.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
I mean, if you have a lot of like
St.
gray,
Cinque Terre in Italy. All
Yeah.
the houses are beautiful.
if you have a lot of like gray or like more cast covered weather, you tend to want like because you don't see the sun as much, I guess. So a lot of those areas are areas where
I'm
it's
thinking
not
of
as
all
shiny.
of the little, and Lexi can probably picture this as well since they're based in the UK. All of the little beach huts in the coastal towns, in the UK coastal towns, they're all so brightly colored against the drab brown sand and the drab gray stone all around, and then you just have these like rainbow little beach huts along that tiny stretch where you can actually get in the water safely. I'm thinking of Barry's Bay, particularly just outside of Cardiff, which is where I went quite often when I was living out there. Barry Bados.
I've never been to the UK, but like the way that you
Same.
describe it, it sounds pretty like misty and gray.
It
most of the
does,
time.
but it's not like here when it's rainy, you're just like, ugh. But over there, you're like, cool, still gonna go shopping. Still gotta go to
you
school.
just
like,
live
still
live with it.
Because it's like so regular. But what I found, because when I was in Cardiff, we had a lot of crappy weather. But because we were right on the estuary, the Severn Estuary, the weather wouldn't last for long stretches of time. So you might have like a couple of hours of rain, and then it would be overcast, and then the next day you'd have sun, and then you'd have rain the next day, and so on. And so you just kind of
Kept
were
you on
like,
your toes.
you just be like, all right, cool. You always had a brolly in your bag.
Guess we're doing this.
You always had your raincoat with you between like August and April. You're just like, we're just prepared for all of it.
Okay.
But it was never gross. Like it was never drab the way it, like here when it gets rainy, you're just like all the energy's leached out. But over there, you're like, no, it's just Tuesday. It's
Well,
fine. But then on the other hand, like when I was in school, I was volunteering at a regional museum, which meant that we had to drive through the Brecon Beacons, which is a national park in Wales, and it was always so lush and so verdant because of how much rain they got. Right? So you had that flip. You had that flip. Like the nature was beautiful and
Totally.
just gorgeous.
I just realized I've been making a huge mistake the whole time.
Oh
no.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be doing rib, and I went back to pattern.
Ah, wow.
Oh no!
Petrichor
It's like
is-
muscle memory just
Yes.
taking over.
Petrichor.
Agreed, Alex. Petrichor is one of the best smells
Petrichor
ever.
is rain
Yes.
smell.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's
that's nice.
It's
I
not
like
the
that.
smell of rain, right? It's the
It's the
smell of the
smell-
soil bacteria.
I thought it was the smell of the ozone after a storm.
I thought I think it was the smell of like the bacteria on the soil.
Well, whatever it is you're smelling, freaking
It smells great.
Yeah. I loved it.
I love petrichor smell.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
No, if I
Ellie,
could
what
move
are
back
you
to
working
Wales,
on?
I'd do it in a heartbeat. I am working on a project. I'm also almost at the very end of my row, so if you bear with me for a couple of minutes, folks,
I
or
will.
like
Yeah,
8
no
minutes, then
problem.
I can get across to it. But I'm working on a shawl that I have worked on here in the past. It is a shawl called the Manuia,
Manuia.
Manuia, I think. We'll have links down below later. You can also, I have a very complete Ravelry page.
Boy, do you!
Yeah,
So
compared
better.
to me.
Also find it linked there. But it is a 2-color brioche shawl that I started at the beginning of June, and I have like, I don't know, like 8 rows left on, 9 rows left on, and then the bind off, and I am so close to being done that I'm just like, everything else is being ignored in favor of this, because I'm using
because
a
you got
color
that
changing...
like final frontier
Yeah.
motivation.
It's the final countdown is what it is. But I'm using a color changing, or not a color changing, a gradient ball of yarn from a local to us dyer named Sarah from Crazy About Yarn.
Hi, Sarah.
And
We love you.
and this is quickly becoming one of my favorite projects this year.
Oh, it looks so good. Do you want me to
Oh
hold
my
it?
god.
Sure.
Talking about jewel tones. Look at the
My
bottom
And
there.
then,
Freaking
and then
God.
because you flip the color of the brioche when you get to that last section, so there's that color. So here, yeah, you can
Oh
see we
my
go from the brown to
God.
the gray to the gold, then into the green, into the blue.
I love
I
how
love this part.
the
Like,
combination
color
of
is so
like
nice.
the brightly colored brioche with the dark contrast
Yeah.
is so
It's
cool.
Ugh.
I am so in love with this project. I took a class at Knit City Toronto with Kate Atherley. It was the Introduction to Brioche
I'm gonna
class.
get a little closer.
Yes, absolutely. Whoa, hold on, my yarn's stuck. So yeah, I took a class at Knit City Toronto called Introduction to Brioche with Kate Atherley, who is an incredible teacher and an incredible pattern designer. And I took that class because I have had this shawl in my queue for so long. I was determined to make it, but I was like, I'm a little too chicken shit to just jump into brioche without proper instruction. So I took the class.
I feel that.
And then one of the things I bought at Knit City was this yarn because I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to have that like fade color.
And you casted it on immediately after Knit City Toronto?
Literally the following weekend, I cast on this shawl.
I love that.
And then 2 t-shirts, which
you
I
think
have
she's
since finished.
playing games? No.
No, she's here to slay.
And
She's here to
so
slay.
there, yeah, you can kind of see both. If I do this, you can see both sets of colors. I think.
Oh, I love
There
it.
you go. Anyway, yeah, it's great. I love it. And I would definitely say if you're interested in learning brioche, that this is a great pattern because you start out with 1 color brioche, then you move to the 2 color brioche, right?
And then 2 color brioche with increases and decreases.
2 color brioche, but in the pattern, yeah.
So fun.
So you're
Alex
leveling
says
up.
it looks like
each
the
step of
Aurora
it.
Borealis with trees.
You love that?
Yeah.
That's great. I'm gonna, I'm maybe, what's the tree of life in Norse mythology?
Oh my god.
The one that's like, because it's kind of giving me that, now that you've said this, Alex, that's what my brain immediately jumped
It
to.
is looking pretty fantasy
Yeah.
tree.
Yeah. The other day, I was
Magical.
working on this at work, and one of my coworkers saw it and was like, oh, that's so beautiful. And I was like, thank you. And then my brain went, oh, your birthday's in a week. Should I just give you this for your birthday?
You would do that?
But then also I was like, but I want to keep it. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yggdrasil. Thank you, Alex.
Yggdrasil.
But yeah, that's what I'm working on, the Manuia. This is what I am determined to finish today if I can. Probably tomorrow, let's be real.
How close are ya?
I have 1 row left in this repeat, plus 8 more rows, plus an I-cord bind off.
Okay.
So 9 rows and an I-cord bind off. Okay. But I have one of those I-cord makers from the Size Inclusive Collective. That Autumn Goodman, I think is her name. Autumn Goodman Eden. I'm gonna get that wrong. I'm sorry. But the person behind the Size Inclusive Collective makes these like really cool latch hook style I-cord makers, and I am very excited to try that out on this and hopefully speed along the I-cord. Because this is like almost 400 stitches, I think. It's gonna take me forever.
400 stitches sounds like so many stitches.
It's a lot of
is.
stitches.
Correct, yeah.
It's like, the one thing that saved me for this one is there's technically a repeat. So I put a stitch marker at every repeat. So I was counting, I think it's 36.
That is a smart thing to do.
36 stitches per area. So it was just like 36, and until I got to the amount. But otherwise,
Yeah, because it's
It
kind
would
of
have
like,
been every 50 stitch I put a marker.
it's kind of like when you're working with lace, you want to put markers at the end of every lace repeat.
Yes.
So then you can sort of refer back to the modules or the sections.
Yeah, so then if you
mess up, you only have to go back so far.
Yeah, exactly. Have you noticed when you do lace specifically that eventually you're just like
autopilot?
Not
it's
thinking about it anymore,
because your body's like, I know what to do.
Well, when you've been knitting in lace for like 80 rounds, like the yoke of a sweater or something, you're gonna...
No, for real.
I find it fascinating because like when you first start the project, you read the pattern
terrifying.
and you're like, what is this? And
then you read the pattern, do you? Do you?
Oh, you're reading the pattern?
Huh?
Well, how the tables have turned.
And then I just go like, I don't understand what's happening. And then after like 10 rows, I'm like,
pattern.
Shut up. And then 10 rows afterwards, I'm like, okay. No, but it's true.
All said with love.
Read your patterns. Don't be like us.
In full.
Don't
Read them
do
in
it.
full before you
don't
start.
do it.
Know what
don't
you're
be like.
And then also, I would recommend go back to the website where you got the pattern and check for errata.
Yes, I never
Also
do
do
that.
that.
You know that? I never do that.
Before you start.
And then I realized, like, oh shit, there's clearly a mistake here.
And you've already made it.
And I already made it, so I just live with it.
And if only you had read the errata.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to tell you, a lot of the times, like, the designers will very diligently send you like a message via like Ravelry if you bought it through Ravelry or Etsy if you bought it, whatever you had. They'll send you a message. Do I check my messages? Absolutely not.
But good on them for sending the message.
There's like 17 unread messages in my Ravelry inbox that I'm just not gonna read.
Can I? Your phone's you.
Do you want to read it?
I was going to say, can I have your phone so that I can just check them to make sure there's nothing
We're
you're
using
missing?
my phone as a camera, so because we don't have a real camera, just FYI.
I have to say, though...
I mean, it is a real camera, just not, you know...
Sure.
No, but this explains how many patterns I have sent you that you have just never responded to because you just don't open your messages.
You send me patterns?
Yeah, things that I see.
Remember,
that remind you
one
of
time,
the two of you.
One time she sent me one, and then
That's
like 6
so-
months later, I was like,
so
oh shit.
nice, thank you. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. I thought it was just like random updates. I didn't think it was real things.
No.
I was like, I don't want your like email thread message. I'm not gonna read this.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'll read it, I promise. Now that I know that like one of my loved ones is sending me cute little messages.
But I kind of love how she's just like let it slide for like months, and then she's like, I guess nobody responds to me. Like, okay.
Honestly, I would have brought it up like, do you not have my messages?
I'm just too perpetually online, I think, for Ravelry. I think that's what it is. It's like a permanent browser on my computer, or tab on my computer that's always open.
Fair.
I check it on my phone. I'm always like, oh, I have 10 minutes while I'm waiting in line. Let's doom scroll Ravelry and pick patterns that I'm never going to make.
You know, like, I don't know what updates they did on the website, but my work computer no longer see it.
Oh.
So I used to be able to browse, which was probably not a great thing, but like on my, like whenever I needed a break from work, it'd be like Ravelry, and now it's like I don't have that anymore. So I haven't gone to Ravelry in a really long time, like for an actual like search of patterns or stuff for a while, because I don't think about it when I get home. I'm just like tired or something.
So I'm just gonna keep sending you stuff and hopes that eventually quarterly.
Yes,
the
thank
both
you.
of you look
Now that we know.
If you want to follow us on Ravelry, our usernames are downstairs, and it's not more of a following; it's more like a do you want to be friends with us on Ravelry?
Yeah, and then you can see like the patterns we like, or the patterns we're working.
And
with.
you explained to me something really fun, which I didn't know existed until like you told me that like a year ago. Which is like on one of the top menu buttons in the Ravelry interface on the web, and I think you can do that on mobile as well.
Yep.
There's a section called Friends.
So it's community, friends, and then it'll show you what your friends are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
liking, interacting with.
I love going to the Friends section, and then whoever you're friends with, it shows you what they're liking, what projects they're putting in their queue, what things they're commenting on. And it's like so much fun because I feel like I get to be inspired by what inspires other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
people that you know.
And people that I know and whose aesthetics I really like. Mm-hmm. So I love the Friends section. I didn't know it existed until you told me. So yeah.
I like doing it because then it means I don't have to doom scroll Ravelry as much. I can just pop over and be like, oh, my friends like these. I'm going to like them too.
And good point, Lexi says, if
Yes.
it's accessible to you, it's
Very
really
true.
great. I have a really strong feeling about that. Like, it's such a great resource. I don't understand why they wouldn't go the extra mile and make it an accessible website.
Yeah, I agree.
That's been a point of contention for a lot of people for a long
Yeah,
time.
and it feels like...
I think it came down to money. I think that was the justification given by the
Yeah, but
the
I
people
mean, you
behind
think
it.
it's big enough to... I don't know.
You'd think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what their justification is, but I don't know. Yeah.
There's a little bit of mention in the chat about using inspiration in things for stash.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Do you
I'm with
guys
ya.
call it stash busting? I like calling
Yep.
it stash busting. I think it's just catchy.
Mhm.
Although I'm trying to get away from calling my yarn
Stash.
stash because
Hoard.
Yeah, I'm into collection.
Yes.
My yarn collection is growing, or my hoard,
I do love the dragon hoard.
the dragon hoard.
I love
Because I feel like the word stash has like this
A
connotation
negative.
of it being hidden
Yeah.
away and like embarrassing to have.
Which
And
is
I'm not embarrassed about
anything
the
but
amounts of
true.
yarn that I have.
When you
Yeah.
think about where it's displayed in your home, in my home, like it's very prominently.
It is prominent.
Yeah, mine could technically be considered a stash in a way because it is in my closet, so you can't really see it. But
Yeah.
eventually, when I get a new Billy bookcase, I will 100% display it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I have a glass fronted Billy bookcase as well. Although the last time I was at IKEA earlier this year, IKEA Canada doesn't stock them anymore.
Really?
And I went online and they were not like they wouldn't ship.
Sorry,
what?
So I was like, I hope this is just temporary because this is definitely one of their more popular things.
100%.
Maybe it
Well,
was
it
just
has-
during the summer. They
Yeah,
weren't
maybe.
stocking it.
That's
very
weird.
strange.
So I ended up getting a different shelf, which was fine. It was for my books that I was whatever. Anyway, but I too am a member of the like glass fronted Billy bookcase, and I, like Lexi, have my stash, my collection digitally documented in Ravelry. And I have this system where when yarn comes in to my home, I put it on my couch and then I wait for a day where I have good natural lighting and then I photograph everything and then it can go into the cupboard.
So we definitely have to make a whole video about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because I've been meaning to get better at maintaining my collection and just like doing inventory of it, taking good
Yeah.
care of it,
Yep.
storing it in a way that is safe and that it doesn't get like musty, dusty, and mothy. MDM, musty, dusty, and mothy. Put that on a t-shirt and then send it to me
There
because
you
I want to have
go,
it.
there you go.
But I've never been like really conscientiously taking care of my yarn and fabric collections. So we can do a big thing about that and see like what other people are
100%.
interested
Yeah,
or
definitely.
how other people keep their stashes or collections. Or
Yeah, I'd love
hoards.
to hear like what if the people have tips or
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's somebody whose YouTube video got recommended to me recently, and I watched it, and they were in the process of moving. So what they ended up doing was every time they they started packing up yarn to move, they took photos of it and logged it in. I can't remember if they were using Ravelry or a different
that's
platform.
really smart.
But what they did was as they were packing it, they were photographing and logging it, and then it went into the box, and then when it went to their new home, this person had more space, so they were then like organizing it so it was like all of the sweater quantities were together, and then like this weight of yarn was together, and like doing it that way.
Yeah.
So that and the I'll have to see it. This video was recommended to me. I didn't follow the person, and I deeply regret that. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
But essentially, what they
I'm
were
interested.
doing was like, well,
little
my
bit at a
plan is to
time.
make it A, sustainable in terms of documenting it, and B, so that in the future I don't have to suffer from like decision paralysis. Like I have all my sweater quantities together. I know I want to make shawls with these yarns, so I'm going to put all of that shawl yarn that I've kind of already decided on here, so that I can just like, instead of picking from 300, I'm picking from 10.
yeah.
When you're
Yeah,
picking a
that's really
project.
great because if you earmark your like skeins by the kind of project that'd be good for,
Yeah.
or the amount that you have, then and you keep them together in clusters or in bundles, it might be like an easier. No, it certainly will be an easier choice
Yeah.
when it comes to actually going through your collection and picking something to do.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the one thing, like, for me, the fact that it's hidden away right now is a little frustrating because half the time I completely forget what I have.
Oh.
So when I go out shopping and we're at a store or whatever, I get super happy with yarn. And like we all remember the fact that I literally bought the same color yarn.
Oh yeah, that
once.
was really funny.
And it was
was
like
on
I
two
already
different
had
bases.
some. It was 2 different bases, but it was I already had some of exactly the same maker, the same color, the same, just different weight. But and if I had known that I had this color in maybe a different weight, but it's still the same color and the same maker, I probably would have chosen a different color.
Yeah.
But because I don't see my yarn,
If I had known then what I know now.
Yeah.
so that's one of the reasons why I do want to eventually like display
Digitize it or
Yeah.
display it.
Even digitize it helps. I already have a bit of a like a Excel sheet, but I should update it. But it's not enough. Like I need to. I'm very visual. I need to see it.
I keep the photos that I take for Ravelry on my phone so that I can then go through and be like, I know, and then I keep them in their own folder as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
But like,
Oh, it looks like my link to Ravelry doesn't
so
work.
what doesn't work, I think, is that it's because we've copied it from the last one, so there must be a broken one in the last one.
Oh,
But they should work
it's-
from previous videos. If not,
yeah, I'll just put
give
it.
me 10 seconds and I can put it in the chat.
You are a lifesaver.
I try. What was I gonna say now? Community. Friends.
Friends.
Filter by my friends' activities. Ooh.
I have to say, I don't think
Ooh,
I'm very.
Laura's been
I'm
searching
not.
for last-
Laura is a good inspiration source.
Yeah.
I'm not super active on Ravelry, I don't think. I want to get better at it because I've been a lurker for many, many years. Like on this site specifically. But I do enjoy the satisfaction of like making a project page, putting your notes in there, and then like calling it done, and then people give you hearts and stuff. I really like that, and I want to take better advantage of the stash, the digitized stash, because there's this really cool feature that when you have your yarn amounts and weights in your Ravelry page, when you're scrolling through projects, it suggests to you like you could use this yarn that's currently in your stash.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be great.
Yeah, because then it kind of like, for me especially, when like I know I'm trying to save or I'm trying to use from the yarn I already have, and then but I really like this project, and maybe I don't remember that, hey, you actually have the perfect yarn for this, instead of going out and spending like
And then
X amount of money.
the reverse of that, what's really great is if you know what you have in your stash, you can look up that yarn in Ravelry again,
and look
if
at
it's accessible,
patterns
and look at what other people have made out of that yarn that you have. And gain
Another
inspiration from
really
that.
good option that I've done before, if Ravelry is not accessible to you, is I go
Pinterest as well.
Pinterest, yes, but I go to the page of the yarn manufacturer, like of the label, and they'll very often have examples of.
Never, Lexi. Never too nosy. I do it all the time.
Go for it. Yeah. I like to go to the website of the yarn manufacturers and see if they have like patterns that they've published for that yarn specifically. And even if I don't end up buying that pattern, it's good to see what they use the yarn that they manufactured.
Yeah,
for.
especially
it gives
like
you ideas.
the big commercial brands, like
Exactly.
in Europe, like Knitting for Olive or Issayer or Rowan.
Yeah.
Or in the
even
States, Brooklyn Tweed.
Sansgarn.
Yeah, they'll have Lion Brand as well, is prolific in their pattern production.
Yeah, I have to say, no shade to Lion Brand. I used to be a huge fan of their patterns. Now I feel like my taste has
It's just not
gone
conducive.
beyond Lion Brand style.
That's okay.
And I think, I can't put my finger on it, but I think it's kind of more like vintage. Not vintage, but like 80s and 70s inspired.
Like
and
that's what they're making?
Or
That's what they're
okay.
making.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm more interested in like either really modern interpretations
Or much more vintage.
or way back like 30s and 40s
Okay.
kind of patterns. So they've like, I don't know, I feel like some brands are just like very consistent in their style of design, and Lion Brand is one of those brands.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't
If
know.
it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
But yeah, for sure. But sometimes you just like grow out of your own tastes, which is interesting to see.
I've evolved a little bit, like, you know, maybe like you just change, like,
Yeah,
tastes
I
evolve.
used to like ketchup and now I hate it, so there
You
go.
used to like ketchup?
As a wee tiny baby
Yeah,
for like the
because
first 3 years of my life.
Because you've despised it the whole time
Yeah,
I've
I
known
don't
you.
know. I don't know what it was, but in my teenage years, I just, not even, like when I was like 10 or 11, I just all of a sudden was like, I can't do this anymore, and like had to stop eating ketchup. Same thing with cream cheese, but I think it was because I just ate a cream cheese bagel for breakfast every day for like
that might just be
4 or 5
repetition.
months while I was part of it too is that like I was doing an internship like co-op placement thing for school, and I had to leave my house at 6 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
So I got into the habit of making a bagel with cream cheese and then eating it on the bus because I was literally the only person on the bus because it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
So you kind of like tired yourself out.
So
of that.
I just cream cheesed too close
hard
to the sun, really.
You cream cheese too close to the sun. So good question in the chat. Alice asked, what's your current like knitting style? As in like the style of patterns that we like to make? Why don't we start with you, Carine?
I don't think I have a style per se.
I disagree.
I just like sweaters.
As well.
I mean, I do have I like cables. I guess, is that a style?
That is a style, yeah.
But aside from that, I don't. Yeah.
But you, from what I have seen in the last 5 years of knowing you and your knitting, I would say you are a person who likes fitted, textured garments that are great for layering.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but they're also very...
Not sculptural, but very intricate design.
What I was gonna go for is timeless, because I can't, the patterns that you usually gravitate to, I can't put a decade
on them. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's one of the, cables are one of those things where, if you put them strategically in a few spots, you can very easily tell, oh, this is a very 70s or 80s inspired cable knit. But if you put them all over, suddenly it becomes a texture and not a style.
Yep.
And I feel like that's what you like.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, my first one was literally just cables everywhere, so.
Literally her first sweater ever.
Which is why her handle is Cable Queen. Because you are I
just decided, if you're gonna jump, might as well just jump into the deep end.
Call me mother. Mother of cables.
Mother of cables. Oh my God.
Lexi's looking at your yarn stash on Raven. It's lovely.
Why, thank you.
I agree.
I mean, it hasn't been updated in a little bit, so there's a few things missing there. But
that's okay.
I also think, I don't know, if you agree, Carine, but the things that I see you buy and the patterns that I see you make are very color forward.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean, color forward?
For example, I'm someone who enjoys a neutral.
Oh, okay.
And you're if you're making for yourself, or even when you're making for other people, you're color.
You know what? I think that comes from the fact that when I was in college and high school, I was very much the opposite.
Oh.
It was very much dark.
A beige lady?
Dark and moody?
Oh no, just dark and moody. I was not emo by any means, but I preferred baggy.
You had an almost
baggy
punk
t-shirt,
goth aesthetic.
I preferred the baggy t-shirt. I was very much tomboy style.
Mm-hmm.
I wore very
what
big,
mood.
Nothing wrong with
black
Such a mood.
t-shirts. Yeah, that was me. So I feel now I'm compensating.
Also in fitting with what was on trend for that time.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. How about you, Ali? What would you say your knitting style is?
Let me tell you, in just a few words: mohair, A-line, colorful, fitted texture.
You're a texture gal through and through.
Yeah, definitely.
Lindsay literally said this at knit night. I can't remember what we were doing, what we were working on, and she goes, so one of our knit night friends is learning how to do continental knitting because they want to get better at collar work.
Is this Lindsay?
Lindsay, yes. So we were talking about it at knit
next
night.
to Lindsay next time.
And she was like, yeah, I really want to get better at it. I want to be more consistent at it. And I was like, good for you. I could never. And she looks up at me and she kind of squints out of one eye and she goes, right, you're the texture one. And I was like, yes!
Yeah!
Correct! I am the texture one, as is evidenced by the brioche that I'm doing.
Exactly.
So yes, I would say, what did I say? Mohair, A-line, a little bit of texture, colorful.
And Lexi is saying, "Oh, mohair, so brave,"
Which
is fair when you.
I am very lucky that I am not allergic to it.
Yeah.
I am very lucky that I am a person who finds it soft. I will wear it next to skin all day, every day. I love.
Oh, I wish
I love me a mohair.
Can't do that. I mean, I can wear it. I just have to wear a little
a layer
something
fluffy.
on the stomach. Yeah, but this has mohair and it's fine. I don't know. I think it depends on the brand of
Everybody's
mohair.
different.
I would say that I gravitate towards oversized silhouettes, and I love me a stockinette.
Well, you're definitely a vintage person too.
I
Like
am-
I see you gravitate towards a lot of those patterns.
Yeah, it's true. I like the
But like the old vintage, like 1800s almost, which I love.
Yeah.
'Cause some of those like are timeless pieces. Like they still work so well together.
and I think
Or
what I
today.
like about that style, like not that I'm in like trying to make historical reproductions, but what I like is that they have bits of texture, color work, and cables or lace somewhere, but it's not an all over garment.
Right.
Most of the time, it's like a really boxy.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
like a
gravitate towards like a
statement
boxy.
piece.
A boxy garment or like a very simple construction but with a pop of something,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like I like Gansey sweaters where it's just on the chest and the back, or I like the color work at the cuffs, or I like mohair, or I like, you know, like the lace yokes, like the
The love note.
the love
Love
the
note.
Or the
love note and the
ranunculus.
ranunculus. I love me a lace yoke. Yeah, and I'm getting a little bit more into color work lately, which
Yeah,
I'll
you
talk
are.
about at Knitspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good, not combination, description of our own individual
Yeah.
I
styles.
think so. We're so different.
Yeah, we do have overlaps. Like
We do.
we've
A
little bit.
definitely done the thing where we're like, let's all make this same
I
pattern.
mean, the love note
But
is the probably
what's really
the
interesting,
best
Like the
example.
Vellichor.
And the Vellichor.
But what's really interesting is that while yes, we have made at least 2 of the same pattern, the way we have interpreted that has been so
True.
different.
That's
'Cause,
so
like,
true.
For example, the Vellichor that I made as a slightly oversized tunic length, and I did a color gradient
Yeah.
with it. Whereas yours is more of like a boxy,
It's very
overlarge,
boxy.
Yeah.
with like a really muted autumnal color tone.
And
Yeah.
mine is like
And then yours is
freaking
purple.
Yours
Yeah,
is
this
like
massive
right,
purple,
right,
bright.
Yours, but yours is also a little bit more fitted too.
Yeah.
Like, it's really interesting how we've all interpreted that. Same thing with the love note. Same thing
Even
with
when
the
we
necklace.
made the love note, like I was going for like big and boxy and cropped,
Yep.
and like you were going for like perfect
Yeah,
waist length. You were
I
like
did both
thick for layering.
both of my love notes are slightly A-lined, 3/4 length sleeves, perfect to wear over a dress or
Yeah.
or trousers, and they're meant to sit like just above the waistline of my jeans.
Yeah.
Like I designed them for that. I modified them for that.
You 100% are a creature of habit, and I love that about you.
Which is great because it means it saves me yarn because every pattern is like knit for 12 inches on the body and I'm like knitting for 7, then we're doing the ribbon, calling it good.
Yeah.
We're done here.
Lexi says they want to see all of your love notes in one
Hold on,
picture.
hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, we
You
do
know what?
have.
That picture does exist.
Hold on, I have one, and I have it saved I think in my favorites on my phone because it is a photo that I love deeply.
It's an epic
At
picture.
one point, we thought.
I feel like I should be asking permission to show this photo because we have friends of ours in it who are not on the pod. Do you think people will be okay?
No, I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apologies
Don't use
in advance,
AI
friend.
to figure out who our friends.
Yeah. Leave them their privacy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna cover up our faces.
This is all love notes.
That's
Yeah.
so many love notes.
Yeah.
I have made
So
2,
cute.
and then our friend Sherry just finished up one, like last month.
Yeah.
She knitted
Yes.
I've
Was that long enough to see?
only made one.
Did I mention that Linda's making one right now?
Linda!
So I was like, if you finish it before you come here, you have to bring
Yeah,
it.
the real MVP.
Okay,
the real MVP.
Let us know because we need to take a love note picture with
Right?
Linda.
Of course we do. We
Oh,
need to
and
do
next
that.
Knit City, we should all
Oh my
wear
god, that'd be
those.
so cute.
Oh, that'd be adorable.
Do you remember when we were at Knit City, Montreal,
Yeah.
and we were at that event wearing our love note?
Yes.
And they asked, like, anyone who's wearing a love note, please come to the front. And like half the people there stood up and went to the front. And we were like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just a really good pattern.
It is.
Well,
is,
there's
and
like
it's a
what,
very-
over 20,000 of them that have been made
Yeah.
or something on.
It's a
on-
very popular pattern on Ravelry
for
to
a
begin with.
reason.
Yeah, it's really popular. If you haven't made a love note, I highly recommend it.
And it
It's
doesn't have
not
to be with
complicated.
mohair.
It doesn't
you can
have to
just
be with
hold
mohair.
a DK weight yarn single.
And
That's
the
totally fine.
the
Yeah.
lace is like it looks
So
scary, but it's
simple.
not. It's really
It's
simple.
a really good
Gosh, I wanna make
introductory
another one.
lace project because you get it out of the way really early
Right away.
on, And then it's just smooth sailing.
Yeah.
And Tin
like,
Can Knits, the designers of the pattern, have a very in-depth set of tutorials on their blog that walk you through every single step.
and
From the cast
pattern
on to the bind off.
The pattern is interactive in their app, so you can download the Tin Can Knits app and
Yes. It definitely
follow
would
it.
recommend it for a beginner.
me too.
Oh, 100%.
100%. Because it's just, I think the pattern that you do in the yoke, I feel like that's only like 20 or 25 rows.
Yeah.
And then the rest is all stockinette.
I have a couple of hanks of this New Brunswick yarn. What's the really old mill? in New
Briggs and
Brunswick?
Little?
Briggs and Little yarn, like black singles. And I've been meaning to make a worsted weight short sleeve love note with it. So I think it would be very nice.
That would be nice.
To make it in that like raw wool. It's definitely going to be loftier than my other love note, but I'm really interested in seeing the difference of the fabric drapes between the combination of sock merino with a mohair and like a DK almost light worsted singles full wool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
Dude, that would be such a great layering piece.
I feel like it.
Because
I feel
the
like
Briggs
it
and Little
would.
is not a next to skin kind of yarn.
No.
It is definitely more heathered. Like, you do feel the guard hairs more because of the kind of sheep that they're using.
Exactly.
Sheep in Canada are not predominantly bred for their wool. They're predominantly bred for meat.
For meat, yeah.
However, that hasn't stopped Canadian wool mills from milling the wool that comes from those sheep. And so it just means that we have different options available to us that's like locally sourced.
Yeah.
Which is really nice because it means you get like a really good like outerwear out of whatever it is.
And
that
it's
you
the
make
kind
from
of
that yarn.
toothy wool that can really withstand the weather that we have here in
Welcome,
Canada.
Megan.
Welcome, Megan. Nice to have you over.
Hi.
Yeah, so that's kind of my love note plan.
That's an excellent plan.
Yeah. I'm not, I think I've told you this before, Ali, maybe not you, Carine, but I've decided that, I decide this every year, but I've decided that come my birthday on October 24th, I'm going to start a year of using my yarn.
Yes, we had this conversation, but tell us more, please.
Okay,
please.
so here's my current intention. It's not yet a plan because I don't have a lot of
have
actionable items.
A concept of a plan?
I have concepts of a plan.
I have concepts
I'm
of a
not
plan.
president yet. Anyway.
There's American political humor. Sorry.
Concepts of a plan.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's just like that became a meme, and I swear to you, I try my best not to follow this
Cheeto and
this type of
The
content.
Cheeto.
But that was just way too funny to me. Anyway, my concept of a plan is I want to make an intentional and like hard effort to include at least one yarn that is new from my collection.
In every project?
In every project that I make from my birthday this year to my birthday next year.
Yeah.
And I want to do that because, number one, I'm running out of space, and I definitely don't have anywhere else to put yarn in the house. I mean, I do. I just also want to leave some space for my partner to put his stuff.
Poor guy.
Fair. That seems
It's
fair.
That
you know,
seems like, you know.
we share living arrangements.
Now that being said, there's definitely space on the shelves behind us for a skein here.
Now why do you have to? Why do you have to?
Don't
do this to
enable
me?
her.
I have always been the chaos friend.
That is
I
true.
have to keep that title.
Ali is the chaos goblin in the back of my mind that's like, just buy it.
They have ADHD and I'm the devil on your shoulder. So there you go.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
So yeah, the intention is for every new pattern that I cast on from my birthday this year to my birthday next year, I'm going to make sure I used at least one hank or ball from my collection, from my my wall of yarn, I call it.
And do you have any concept of a plan to change how much yarn you're bringing in, or are you going to leave that side of things kind of as they are right now?
So my intention is to not buy yarn for just the yarn.
Yeah, without a project in mind.
Without a project in mind.
Okay.
Because I can't have two ongoing goals.
Yeah.
So if my brain just doesn't have space for two ongoing
Fair.
goals.
Yeah.
So if the main goal is to use at least one hank per project, then that does mean if I don't have enough of that, I'll have to buy a contrasting color of the same weight, or I'll have to use leftovers or something else. So I will not say I'm not going to buy any new yarn, because it's possible that I will need it to complement what I have.
But you're just going to be
But you're going to start
But
with,
I'm going to buy only if I need it for the project
that you're making.
that I'm making with the yarn that I have. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Very much.
Can I make
so.
a little note / recommendation?
Hit me.
So you know how I have been tracking my grams in, grams out?
Mm-hmm.
I have found that in doing that and having that, because I have mine set up to like auto tally the numbers as I add things to my list, and having those numbers at the very bottom and seeing how many grams I have brought in versus how many grams I have brought out has really been helpful in keeping me mindful of what I'm bringing in. So like this last couple of months, there have been some beautiful yarn collections and pre-orders that have been released by dyers whom I very greatly love and whom I have,
Don't
you
I
know.
know?
But each time I'm like, okay, you have already brought this much yarn into your house. Look over at my cupboard, and I'm like, I can see at least double digits of sweater quantities right now.
Yeah,
I cannot
okay.
bring in more yarn
because I'm guilty of that.
because what my grams out right now is 1/3 of what I have brought in this year.
Yeah.
And that to me is unacceptable.
Yeah.
I love that my mind immediately, like, I work in climate change, by the way, so my mind immediately went to like, oh, you're trying to achieve fiber neutrality.
You know what? Yes.
But it is. That's what it is.
Yes.
Because-
that's what's happening.
So the concept of neutrality, when you're talking about greenhouse gases and when people say like, oh, we're going to achieve carbon neutral, it's not that you're not it's not that you're not generating more greenhouse gases, is that you're offsetting that with the positive the positive side of both. So if you're like creating more, you're also making efforts to mitigate or dissipate the same amount, so that at the end you get to a neutral sum zero total.
I
so
don't
sum
think-
zero fiber sounds like a great plan.
I don't think, knowing us the way that I do, I don't think any of us could ever get to a point where we have zero stash. I just don't. I think that we are too much spontaneous caster honors to have zero stash. But I do like the idea of having the
Neutral.
same in as out each year, or potentially like very small margins.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, I brought in 27 sweaters quantities and I knit a single sock. Like, that's not realistic in our lifestyle.
Do you know how we, like, the country has a net zero by 2030 target?
Yeah.
I feel like we can achieve fiber neutrality
by 2035?
by 2030, as in like we are using the same amount of yarn that we are bringing into our homes every year.
So Lexi has just asked how I do the tracking. So I just do it on the Apple version of Excel. It's called Sheets, I think. So I'm just doing it on that, and
On a spreadsheet.
And I'm more than happy to like take a screen cap and post it online later on.
We could make a template.
Yeah, I have a template, because what I'm doing is I'm keeping, like, I started this last year in 2023, and so I just like copy that into the next year, and my goal is when I have like at least 3 years to have a second spreadsheet template where it's like year over year instead of over the course of 1 year.
Oh man, I'm so excited about data visualization.
But basically what
right
I do
now
is I have a couple of columns. So I have the date, I have grams in and what it is. So say, for example, Knit City, and then like I list the yarns that I brought and how much everything is by weight. And then I have a grams out column, what it is, what project that was, and how many grams it took to complete the column. And then I have everything color coded because I just love doing that. And then at the very bottom, they're tallied. I also have a kitchen scale that I use, so I'm actually I'm not doing it nebulously by like, oh, one skein is 100 grams. Sometimes they're 96. Sometimes they're 112.
That is true.
Do you actually, like
I weigh everything. I don't care about weighing my food. This sits beside my couch, the scale, and I weigh all my yarn with it.
Do you separate them by weight, or you just separate them by...
No,
okay, because that's what I do. Like, mine has, like, all the fingering...
Yes,
and then
Alex,
all the...
I do like to play in the sheets. This is really funny because I'm asexual,
She's a freak
too.
in the sheets.
But no, I don't separate it by weight. I just do it so it's by date. I like put in a line. So it's like the date, yarn that I bought at Knit City, 300 grams, let's say, and then the next line will be like 3 days later, and it'll be, I finished this pair of socks, that many grams. And so I do it by date and by like what it was that came in versus what it is that's going out. I'm not separating it by weight or anything.
Everyone who's present right now, I'm making a promise that we're going to make a guidance video about fiber tracking.
I'll bring my iPad. It'll be
we can definitely prepare a template that's downloadable. I'll figure out how to do that, because that is something that I also want to start doing. Ace Gang represent. This is a very queer space. I'm figuring this out now.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's
I love it.
A lot of bi-ness, a lot of ace-ness.
Yeah.
A lot of gender not conformity. I love that for us. But yeah, let's definitely promising we're gonna talk about keeping track of your fiber collection and maybe provide you some tools,
because it can be overwhelming. As we have stated, it can be overwhelming when you have stuff that you don't have a plan for, and then maybe you might have like, oh, I think I'm gonna make this shawl pattern with it, but if you're not keeping track of that, if you're not writing that down somewhere, you're gonna forget it. I do all the time.
Yeah.
Which is why I also started the whole, I have this yarn, I know I want to make this pattern with it, they go together into a project bag. Decision paralysis later is not a thing, because I just off the pile.
And you can put that in your, that's like on my sheet, I do that, where if I see yarn that I like and I think, oh, this project would go well together, I literally have a section that's like, what project would go well with this yarn?
There you go.
And I'll tell you what,
or the queue function in Ravelry.
Yeah. I was gonna say, as a person with a learning disability, I feel like having a tracker would really help me with object impermanence, because one of the things that stops me from using my collection is that I actually don't know what I have.
Yep. I have the same problem.
There's yarn behind other yarn, under other stuff, and I can only see a little bit at a time, and there's some in bags, and there's some in boxes, and so
you can literally forget what they are.
Because I don't have object permanence.
You know what, like, sometimes
so your whip wall is really helpful for
like
that too.
exactly.
The chat's getting really gay, I love it.
Yes, gay!
Diversity!
Once a semester, I want to say, like, it's nice to actually, like, dig through your stash and look at stuff, because it's almost like you're going shopping.
Yeah, you're shopping your
and
own
you're like,
collection.
oh shit, I have this? What?
You're like mining all the little nooks and crannies of your home where you've squirreled away yarn, and you're like,
oh
yeah, I can make this.
Some people look for change in like cushions
pockets.
and whatever. No, we look for yarn.
Hell
for
yeah.
skeins.
It's great. It is great.
And on that note, it is 3:00.
Is it really?
Yes.
Hey, let's do a really quick round of Knitspiration, shall we?
All right. Who wants to go first?
Oh, hold on. We're gonna do the special thing.
That's true, we do.
Hold on to your socks.
I'm not wearing any socks.
Yeah!
I love it.
Carine, what's inspired you this week?
So yeah, I was talking about this earlier. For me, it's actually the people that I'm knitting for right now, because everything I've been knitting for since June has been for Christmas, for people. So my inspiration is them, because every time they're like, my motivation and inspiration is them, because whenever I think of a certain person, I'm like, what would they like? What color would they prefer? What would they use? Things like that. So
nice.
yeah, I think I want to say that's my, for this time, because right now I'm literally that's all I'm working on.
Yeah, but I love that you're working on something that represents the person that you're gonna be. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Ali, what about you?
Right now, the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along is definitely inspiring me. I have not started this year's, because I have not finished the last 2 years.
Very responsible,
and
very demure, very mindful.
Maybe not the most demure, but that doesn't mean I don't have yarn combos already picked out of my stash, because I definitely do. But what is inspiring me is I really want to finish the last 2 that I didn't, and I have come to the realization that it was clue 4 of both shawls that I wasn't really a fan of. So like the bind off, like the bottom bit, which is what was kind of stopping me from finishing. And so what I did earlier this week was I actually went through the forums for the last 2 mystery knit-alongs, and I looked at the photos of people's completed shawls, and I saw how people had modified theirs, and was like, I like that, I like that, I like that, and now I have a plan for one of them, and a concept of a plan for the second one, on terms of how I want to modify Clue 4 to suit my own personal tastes better, and so I am knit-inspired by all of these incredible makers who have shared their finished products, and who have shared all the modifications and the instructions on how they do that.
Shout out to the mods.
Who have
if
not
you're a mod,
100%, who have
we
been
love
throwing
you.
the gates open on the modifications.
Yeah.
Like,
there's no girl
them.
boss gatekeep here,
No.
but this community
there is a girl
shares.
gang.
Yeah, there's a girl gang.
Yeah, but no girl boss girl gatekeep, nothing.
No girl boys. Hold on. What am I trying
No
to say?
gatekeeping.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Gaslight gatekeep girl boss. I'm like, girl boy? Wait. I'm inspired this week by the Shetland Wool Week.
The Islesburg Tory.
The Islesburg Tory, which I'm currently working on, in a supported environment for sure, because I have never done Fair Isle knitting before.
It's so pretty.
And I am quite pleased with my progress. If you could hold this,
Yes.
I'll show you guys. I joined this supported class at our local yarn store where I also teach, and this is one of the advanced classes taught by an excellent knitter called Mowry, and Mary is an excellent Fair Isle and colorwork knitter. And for the first time, I tried to do two-handed, two-stranded colorwork properly, and my first attempt was a-okay, but I decided...
You can really see the difference in person in terms of, like, tension,
Yeah.
evenness.
But my second attempt
Is
was
it the same, like the same weight?
So different. Hold it up
same
higher.
way, same
Like,
weight.
look at the size difference.
Look at this-
Just
Maybe
in,
let's get
Like,
closer.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
just in terms of, like, how did you change your knitting style for this one, then?
So
For your
I said,
second go-round.
the instructor was saying how traditionally these have been knit on belt, on knitting belt with like big DPNs. You look so beautiful.
It's falling off.
I love that. But in the absence of that, I was using circulars, which is still traditional, but like more modern interpretation, and how Shetland knitters will use both hands when they're knitting.
Okay.
So they're picking with one hand and throwing with the other one, which is excellent for me because I can do both. However, in terms of yarn management, you need to maintain your floats of the pattern color under the floats of the background color, and I found that really difficult to do at first.
With
So I
the
kept
two-handed.
flipping and flopping between styles. I did like continental with both colors, and then I did a little bit of two-handed, and then I did both throwing, and then I did like one throwing and one and one picking, but then I wasn't consistent around, and some stitches were too big, some were too small, until I kind of got into a rhythm. And then I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna give it another try. And Mary, the instructor helped give me some really good tips in terms of achieving even tension between both knitting styles, so that both my picking finger and my throwing finger resulted in the same size stitches. And the tips are
even.
the stitches are getting better. I am more tired, and I am like getting a little bit like crampy on the hands because it's a new movement.
Yeah.
So I don't work at it
So it's
too
like
long
a
out of a
couple of
day.
rows at a time.
But I'm really pleased, and
It
I
looks
have to admit, I didn't know that Wool Week happened every year in Shetland, and every year they release a pattern of a different toque, and it's so cute. And they sell the Jameson and Smith wool to go with it, and everyone around the world can participate. So you can download the Islesburg Tory if you want, and get yourself some toothy wool in sock weight, and you can make yourself one.
And it's so toothy. Like this, she pulled off the needles, and like the stitches aren't moving. I'm like really rubbing at them to try to get them to come undone, and they are not moving.
And that's why they're good for color work
And steeking. Steeked projects
and
too.
steeking, because what did you say they were called? Like
The bracts on the wool.
The bracts on the wool are
those
really,
are the scales.
really, like, locking in.
Locked in.
So I'm so inspired by Fair Isle patterns and graphs now, and I want to do much more of this. So I'm hoping to get good.
You should... Have you checked out the patterns from Mary Jane Mucklestone?
No!
This is, if my memory serves me correctly, a designer who is currently based in the U.S. I think she's based in, like, the Portland, Maine area, but is originally from Shetland, and who has a very prolific design portfolio of, like, Shetland colorwork patterns.
No.
Mary Jane Mucklestone.
Okay.
I'm gonna give her a look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because once I'm done with this hat, first of all, I'll never take it off my head.
It's going to blend in with your
second
hair.
of all, my next dream project in Fair Isle is going to be a steeked vest.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I have to...
So a steeked vest,
Steeked colorwork vest that
if
I
you're
need.
wondering what that means, is you knit the entire thing in the round. So you make the creases for the V-neck and you make the creases for the armholes.
Okay.
But it's still in the round, right? So you're just knitting a tube with like shaping at the top.
Okay.
So in the end, you bind off the neck and then you cut the armholes and you cut the neck and you pick up to make the bindings on the edge.
Yep.
I know.
Okay.
Isn't it mind-blowing?
It's scary as hell.
It's really scary, but I'm gonna do it. You watch me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
excited.
don't know if I'm going to be able to find the pattern right now.
But we're gonna put it in the chat. No, in the show notes afterwards.
Is this the person? So, no, it's not the person. So there is a colorwork vest out there, all over colorwork vest, that's designed to look like stained glass, like the windows of Saint Chapelle in France. And I decided that we were going to do...
Matching vests?
No. We decided we were going to do knitting projects while we did our dissertation to kind of celebrate the fact that, A, we had done a big crazy thing, and also to give us, like, something of a reprieve while we were not working actively on our dissertations, so, like, in the evenings and on the weekends. And she was looking at the pigment composition of stained glass from a medieval friary in Ireland, and so she decided to do this all over. I'm not gonna be able to find the colorwork pattern now because she's not on.
But I want to see it.
She's not on Ravelry, so I'm probably gonna have to do some digging to find what the actual pattern name was.
Yeah.
But it was this beautiful vest, and it had like beautiful stained glass, like Windows-esque things.
Cute.
All over, and then I think
Yeah.
the pattern was designed in such a way that like you knit it kind of pieced at the top and then whatever, but she modified the pattern to do it steeked, and she did it in like a toothy wool, and it is one of the most beautiful pieces of knitting I've ever seen in my whole life. I will eventually. I'll reach out to her and be like, "Give me the name of that pattern
And
Send
a
me
picture?
photo."
And a picture.
Yeah, and a picture of her project. That'd
Yeah.
we want to see.
Did your friend finish it?
She did. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I want to see that finished
It's
project.
really cool. It's
Yeah.
And I want to see
beautiful.
what y'all are making. So
Yeah.
tag us in your stuff if you want to brag. I love sleuthing and snooping on
Or
other
become
people's.
friends with us on Ravelry so we
Become
can see
friends
your
with
stuff
Yes,
in our feeds.
100%.
And you can see
All
ours,
friends
and we can
accepted.
be friends, and
Yeah.
we'll all be friends and gay together.
Yeah. Rainbows for everybody.
Yeah.
Woo!
Thank you so much for being here and for spending an hour-ish with us.
An hour plus.
We could literally talk about knitting and other shenanigans
Forever.
forever. But we will stop now so that you can go get some lunch or a treat or
Go to bed.
something
I don't know what
something
time
cute
it
if you
is
want.
wherever you are.
Yeah, do whatever you want with your time. Thank you for being here and spending some with us. We
Happy
love
Sunday.
you. Happy Sunday, and we'll see you again
Thank
in
you
2
so
weeks.
much.
Where we will be putting up a very cool episode because somebody is not going to be around to live stream.
It's me. Is it you?
It's me.
It's
Yes.
you.
It's me. I'm not
It's
gonna
her.
be
I love how you think it's you. You're like, is it me? That I
like,
forgot
I
it's
don't
going away.
I don't know where I'm going, but it sounds good.
there.
Sounds good. Bye.